Hey, what's up, guys? And we are today joined by Mithy after his 2-0 victory against Unicorns, right? So the first game was a bit, I would say, weird. Like you got stomped in the early and mid game, and then you kind of managed to climb back to the game. You want to talk about what happened in the early game, what went wrong, maybe?
Yeah, so we were lane swapping, and then they Gragas ganked mid while we were doing Drake. Our mid laner died, and then there was another situation where their dual lane could go mid, and they decided to dive mid. And I could have moved. There was a lot of things that went wrong, but he basically got dived. He was super far behind, and then he died one more time. And on that time, we actually tried to help him, and then we also died. And then it was just doomed, you know. Like there was no coming back from there. I didn't like honestly. If it was me, I would have just paused the game. But Trick managed to. I don't know. I wish I had the same mental strength as he has, because I have to work towards it, because he just told the team we can still win. Just give it a try, and he just shot called for the whole team. Told everyone kind of what to do and how we want to play and when we want to force a fight, and it just worked out.
So is it something that in the future it actually might help you guys out? Because if you like have a bad game or something, that you can that you know that you can rely on Twig shot calling and taking over that part.
I think after this game, it kind of made me realize that I think it should be more him shot calling than me, because I tend to like get affected by emotions more than he does. So I think overall it would benefit the team more if I would take more of a like I help him make the calls. So he make the calls, and then I just add to his calls, but mostly let him talk. And that's kind of what I want to try and work on now, because I think he can become really good.
Okay, so talk to me really quick about game 2. What went wrong, or maybe even right? Because that game was like a lot more clean, and you seem to be doing a lot better than like at closing out games than you were in the past weeks, right?
Yeah, that's been something we've been working towards. I think this week and the upcoming weeks, our goal is lane swaps and just communicating with our top laner, mid-game rotations and so on. But closing out games when we have a lead is very straightforward for us. I think we kind of have a good grasp of what we're supposed to do, and especially whenever we lose a game in LCS. I think there was one game we lost when we were against Rocket, when we had a good lead, and we lost that game. We learned from that game. We didn't make the same mistake this game. So it just kind of... we're kind of improving, you know, and I think closing out is not really a problem so much. I mean, maybe this interview comes back and hunts me, you know, but that's why I don't want to be like, hey, it's good now, you know, but it's much better than it's been in the past, for me at least personally.
So okay, obviously you guys had like a little roster change or roster situation. I just want to know from your perspective, how has it been to work with like Expect, like your new top laner? Is he like vocal? Does he do like shot calling? Do you help him out with like TP plays on the bot lane maybe?
So okay, deep question here. So in terms of Expect Kikis, the way we play is very low eco top. We need to change this, because this is not going to work on an international stage. So we need to kind of have every lane be able to carry depending on draft. With Kikis, it worked out very well on the low eco style. He talked a lot. Either he was behind, he was ahead. He was constantly talking, constantly shot calling, making plays, and it was just really smooth to like play the game with him. So Expect coming in, he doesn't make calls, and not only that, but his communication was like very, very bad at the start, but in 1 week it's improved so much. Like he actually talks a lot, and he's always like very active in trying to make something happen. And I think honestly, like at the pace he's working at right now, he's putting so much effort in everything he does. So I think he can become really good. I don't know anything about how his 1v1 laning is and everything, but just in terms of how much he talks and thinks about the game and how hard he works, I think he can become as good as Kikis or better. So I'm not really worried yet at how this situation is, and that's what the split is for, is just to test the waters and then be as ready as possible for playoffs.
So a more general question, maybe leading up to that, the general level of Europe, I'm not sure if you can talk about how much, like from your perspective, I mean, you're at the top, right? You can just look down on those teams, but how good is like Europe right now in general? Like, do we have good teams, like a lot of good teams, or is like the overall level like maybe bad right now?
Yeah, I think the level is pretty terrible in Europe. Yeah.
That's all?
Yeah. I mean, just looking at other regions, I mean, I don't know how. I mean, it always depends in 1v1, 2v2 matchups and so on. That's kind of a different thing, because looking at NA, I think their 2v2s, just by looking at them, they play better than EU. Just in general, I can only talk about my lane, right? So 2v2 wise, I think EU bot lanes are better than NA bot lanes are better than EU bot lanes, and Chinese bot lanes are also very, very, very good, and Korean bot lanes are smart, so they don't take. They're worse mechanically, like they don't make aggressive plays, but they play very smart and don't really make their team fall behind and get small leads and snowball through their small leads. They don't like go ham. It's more NA style, and China is just they just go ham in lane on 2v2. So from the grasp I get, I think EU bot lanes are the worst from those regions. And in terms of map play and so on, I think EU is behind NA and ahead of China. And I don't even mention Korea here, because if someone is looking at this interview, they already have a grasp of how the situation is in that regard.
All right, thank you so much for this interview. Very, very good answers. And if you guys want to check out more stuff, we of course have more interview coverage at theScore Esports.com. Make sure to follow our Twitter account, and we also have an app. And see you guys next time.